Welcome everyone. This is Adam from Budapest. Lovely to see that we have at least 11 viewers. What I brought today is the snow-covered Buda Castle Hill. We are going to walk from the southern tip of the castle hill towards the middle section, and we are going to conclude the tour, the live virtual tour, at the Fisherman's Bastion and at the Matthias Church. So that's the plan for today. Well, the comment section of StreamYard apparently is not necessarily working accordingly, but we will see how it goes through how the tour. Well, I hope you're all doing fine. Natalie, thank you very much for letting me know that the image and the sound are both good. So, since everything works accordingly, I would say let's start the live virtual tour. So, we are on the Buda side of the Hungarian capital city, and we are overlooking south. And now we are staring in the eyes of the Buda Hills. And the highest point of the Buda Hills is actually high enough to be considered a mountain. And that's the area where we have multiple sledging slopes and multiple ski slopes as well. So Budapest is one of the few capital cities in Europe that actually has a ski resort as well. Well, today's tour, the purpose of today's tour is actually twofold. First things first, I wanted to show you the snow-covered Buda Castle Hill because it's quite a rarity to see Budapest covered in this much snow. And the other thing is that we haven't toured the Buda Castle Hill much during the past couple of months or maybe even a year, and a lot of changes took place here. So I wanted to update you about how the Buda Castle Quarter looks like today. Well, one of the greatest changes that happened during the past year is that Wing A has been knocked down completely and is being rebuilt as we speak. There's the wing that you can see behind the Molino. Well, 3 of the 4 walls of Wing A were completely knocked down. The one overlooking the river was kept because, as per the outcome of the wall research, that was the wing that there was a wall that's been built before the Second World War. And as we are walking down on the reconstructed Ebel ramp, which was deconstructed past the Second World War during the socialist times, well, we are going to take another peek of the royal riding stables and its snow-covered roof as well. The Royal Riding Stables was reopened actually in 2021, but not as a riding stables, but rather as an event venue. And we are staring at Wing B of the former Royal Palace of Buda, which used to feature the ballroom on the first floor or second floor US. Well, we have no idea what will happen with Wing B and with the National Gallery it accommodates. All I can tell is that the front, the plaza that we've toured extensively until 2023 was completely closed down for construction works. And the building that occupies the great part of our screen happens to be the Garrison. This was used by the non-married members of the Royal Darabont Bodyguard Unit. Just like the Royal Riding Stables, it was reopened during the famous COVID times. And today it serves as a restaurant and cafe. And upstairs there is a small museum dedicated to the Royal Darabont Bodyguards. And well, the plan is that we are going to step into the Lion's Court. We are going to look around how it looks like covered in snow, and then we will continue towards north. Usually this part of the castle hill is the least visited. So you'll see how busy it is this afternoon. And we have those angry lions here. It does not fancy if anyone would leave the courtyard, sorry. Today they rather look hilarious with the snow cover on their head and on their back. Temperature wise today, it's only -2 to -4. Tomorrow, when we are going to tour the UNESCO listed city park, in the evening, the temperature may go down to -15 to -19 degrees Celsius. Well, the technical equipment I use for live streaming should operate accordingly until the temperature is above 0 degrees Celsius. So we'll see how it works today. And well, I can only cross my fingers that I can deliver the tour tomorrow as well. So the wing that you can see right now is the National Gallery's wing. And we have the snow-covered dome of the former Royal Palace of Buda that been rebuilt after the Second World War during the 1960s. And then we have one of the necks. Actually, this section shows you how the facade of the former Royal Palace looked like prior to the Second World War. And we have the wing of the National Library. And well, in front of us, these three axes, these accommodate the St. Stephen's Hall on the upper floor. That's currently the only reconstructed hall of the former Royal Palace of Buda that now we call the Buda Castle. Now we are going to circle back and we are going to check out the eastern terrace as well, and the snow-covered rooftops of Pest. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'll do my best to read it. Slight problem is that the stream here does not look good on my phone, so I can barely see the comments, but I'll do my best to answer them. Well, if you look at the facade carefully, you can still see bullet marks dating back to the Second World War. And well, overlooking north, we have another set of lions. These ones are the proud ones, welcoming everyone to the Lion's Court. We are going to push through a tunnel. The tunnel is a bottleneck in terms of bandwidth. So should anything happen, bear with me. And as soon as I'm across the tunnel, we'll continue with the streaming. Hopefully it will not be interrupted. Well, we have the Matthias fountain in front of us. King Matthias, dressed as a hunter, is on the top. We have some fawns, snow-covered fawns. Beneath him, an Italian scientist with a falcon on his arm, some bloodhounds, and some hunters as well, a part of this picture, just like Ilona, on the westernmost part of the fountain, who was madly in love with the hunter without knowing that the hunter is actually the king of the country. Well, those of you who regularly toured with me during the previous years, you may know wall research very well as Wing B might go under reconstruction sometime in the near future. Several sections of the facade being opened, and well, multiple layers of plaster being scraped off. That's an early sign that something may happen with Wing B as well. But that will be a topic of a different tour sometime in the future. So we kiss goodbye to the western side of the castle hill, the garrison, and the Matthias fountain, and off we go to the eastern terrace, named after a French military officer who served in the Habsburg army during the 1600s. And that would be Prince Eugene of Savoy. Now, this equestrial statue hasn't changed a single bit during the previous year. It still faces east. The story hasn't changed a bit either. It's still been commissioned by a Serbian town named Zenta. But once the pedestal and the statue were ready, it turned out that Zenta didn't have the necessary financial resources to pay for the artwork they commissioned. So eventually the pedestal and the corresponding statue as well being purchased by the Habsburg court, following the advices of Haussmann, the Hungarian Haussmann, who was the appointed architect to oversee the former royal palace of Buda's facelift, late 1800s facelift. And in a brief second, we're going to climb over piles of snow and we will check out the rooftops of Pest. We are going to push a little bit further south, walking past the southernmost wing of the former royal palace that accommodates not just the St. Stephen's Hall, but also the Budapest History Museum's Buda Castle wing. And here comes another change. Well, the hilltop citadel, as you can see on the top of the Gellert Hill in the distance, is showing different colors. We are testing the illumination of the floodlights of the citadel, which is scheduled to open sometime during the spring of 2026. And should we lean out, then you can see the foundry court, the water wall, and the second courtyard, the Renaissance garden, which was designed for Queen Elizabeth's eyes during the late 1800s. And since 2024, the eastern ramps have been reopened as well. There's the one beneath us. During the reconstruction of the eastern ramp, they found traces of Sigmund's castle and Sigmund's ramps, which came obviously with a archaeological excavation, and that delayed the project a lot. And checking out the views overlooking north, well, this is likely one of the most iconic angles of the city of Budapest, with the chain bridge in the foreground and the House of Parliament in the background. And today you have a unique opportunity to see the skyline of Budapest covered in snow. During the past 2-3 days, Budapest got at least 20 centimeters of snow. For this evening, we are expecting another 10 plus centimeters. So I expect the city park as well to be covered in snow during tomorrow evening's tour, creating quite a winter wonderland there as well.
Yeah.
As a recap, because we may have some new viewers as well, the chain bridge was the first permanent crossing point to be built between Buda and Pest, between the twin cities. It was opened in 1849. The architect and engineer was a Bristol-born engineer, Thierry Clark. The on-site project manager was Scottish. His name is Adam Clark. Well, we have quite a display of snowmen as well along the battlement. This is the terrace where the facade of the former royal palace was lit up during the second half of the Advent season. This is where the drone show took place as well. If you haven't seen my video of the holiday drone show, then check out Behind Budapest's YouTube channel, and you will find the drone show's recording among the most recent videos. So right across the river, we have the St. Stephen's Basilica as well. Poking out from the skyline of Budapest, and a little bit further to the south from it, we have the Budapest Eye. And well, now Prince Eugene of Savoy's equestrial statue from the other side, from the eastern side. He had his greatest win over the Ottoman Empire in the city of Zenta. Well, that's why the Serbian town ordered this artwork, but eventually it ended up in front of the Buda castle. Prince Eugene of Savoy was also leading the army that liberated Vienna from the Ottoman Turks in 1683, and 3 years later, the same army, the same joint venture, also known as the Holy League, liberated the town of Buda and Pest as well from the Ottoman Turks. The campaign continued towards the Balkans, but eventually the Holy League and the Ottoman Turks came to a truce. Well, let me know in the comment section if this is the first time for you to see Budapest covered in snow. It definitely does not happen very often. If you want to compare today's version of the Buda Castle Quarter with an earlier version, then I invite you to check out another video on the YouTube channel, which shows you how the Buda Castle looked like on the 23rd of December 2 years ago. And then you can see how much work happened here during the past 2 years. And well, just like in many other corners of the Hungarian capital city, well, the terrace in front of the Royal Palace of Buda also accommodated a punch market during the holiday season. Some of the punch markets, like this one as well, managed to survive a bit longer than the holiday season itself is. It's still cold outside. We still need some warm beverages, stew and sausages, just to keep us going. And although traditionally the lights and the Christmas decoration shall be taken down on the 6th of January, some of the decorations managed to survive a bit longer, just like the market itself. Well, this would be the fountain of the fishing boys. Now, as you can see, it's also covered in deep snow. And well, in the background, we have the A wing or wing A of the Buda castle, which was not meant to be completely deconstructed. Plans changed along the way. The first plan was to reconstruct the gate of Wing A, the ceremonial gate, and then more and more sort of like ornaments were added to the project. So eventually they knocked down almost the entire wing. The Buda Castle quarter suffered a lot during the Second World War, but the Habsburg staircase and Habsburg gate that we are about to climb up survived in almost mint condition. And those of you who are regular viewers of my live virtual tours, you may remember that we had one, well, rogue city light, this one, that failed to comply with our needs and wants. And I always use this light bulb as a sign that Hungarians not mastered the trade of maintenance. Well, it's still a rogue city light. And in the meantime, the famous blue hour started, adding lovely extra cold colors to this snow-covered capital city. So the Habsburg Gate and the Habsburg Stairs. We have the top station of the funicular here, which was built following the best practices of Lyon. So the most famous roundabout of Hungary, the 00 point. We measure distances from this very point, the iconic chain bridge, and the St. Stephen's Basilica in the background. As the crowds cleared from our path, from our way, I can provide you a prime angle to the funicular cars as well. And if any one of you is into taking screenshots, then I'm framing it in a way you have the chain bridge as well in the background. Three families sponsored the construction of the chain bridge: the Chinas, the Secenis, and an Austrian family. Pride does not allow me to talk about the Austrian family. That story will be covered by my fellow Austrian colleagues. Well, apparently there are some mechanical problems with the funicular, and that's why it could not leave this station. Well, in the meantime, let me pan towards the south, so you can also see a lit up Buda castle as well. On the top of the column in the corner, you can see the totemic version of the eagle, the famous Turul. Well, as we have a plan and a schedule, we are going to push on. We'll not wait until they figure out the funicular war. The beauty of live streaming tours is that we have to expect the unexpected. So should they launch the two cars, then we'll wait for it. Otherwise, we are going to continue. No. Still no sign of punching it. So, the next protagonist is the presidential palace. The Alexander Palace, built in 1806. The Alexander family was one of the most influential in the Hungarian society. They were so influential that they also managed to marry into the Metternich family, and the two families combined, they formed the centerpiece of both the Viennese high society and the Hungarian high society as well. This palace was their flagship palace, built in a way to accommodate their love of horses. Today, the palace is used by the President of Hungary as a workplace. This is the presidential office. And since the last time we toured here, several trees been planted here, which been decorated for the holiday season. And thanks to the recent snowfall, now they look the best. The reconstruction of the Archduke Joseph Palace also progressed a lot. The molino that covers the construction site shows the Hungarian colors: red, white, and green. So once again, the Alexander Palace, the western facade, which serves present day as the main entrance to the presidential palace. The next door building is the Carmelita Monastery. Today, it serves as the Prime Minister's office. While it's possible to walk past the presidential palace, it is not possible to walk right in front of the Prime Minister's office, the Carmelita Monastery, which also served as the castle theater during the late 1700s, early 1800s, well, basically till the 1900s. The castle theater was the first permanent theater in Hungary, which was heated as well. So the theater season was the same as everywhere else, as present-day theater seasons are, starting in during the fall and ending during the summer. At the stage, the theater was so famous that even Beethoven performed in the theater once. That performance is commemorated with a marble board on the facade. And this is something you have to believe me in, because we are... Come, vamos. And as things change quite rapidly, lately decision was made to rebuild 2 axes from the former DOD's headquarters, but not the entire building, because that would block the view from the Carmelita building. Yeah, we have some heavy machinery attempting to clean the streets of the Buda Castle quarter as well. While we are touring the streets of the medieval castle, the Situation Room in Budapest is, well, in action. Decision makers gather regularly during the day to discuss the chaos on the roads of Hungary. Well, another big change since our last visit to the castle quarter is that the corner building, the former Department of State, the former Secretary of Foreign Affairs, reconstruction being finished. And although it does not serve as the Department of Foreign Affairs, which was the original goal of the building's reconstruction, it accommodates multiple different governmental bodies. The facade of the building looks as the foreign affairs, the monarchy's foreign affairs looked like prior to the aerial bombardments in 1944. The interior is, well, the interior meets the need of a modern day office building. And what will happen in the near future is that they are going to finish the reconstruction of the National High Command's HQ, which is the building occupying or closing down the plaza on the southern end. The National High Command HQ survived the Second World War with major wounds, but the building was to be salvaged. Decision was made not to. And in 1966, decision was made that the dome and the upper 2 floors shall be deconstructed in order not to harm the beauty of the reconstructed skyline, reconstructed lines of the Buda castle. Snow-covered buildings, snow-covered parks, blue hour, yellow streetlights. What else you need? Well, the comment section seems to be dead, at least on my end. So I can only hope that we still have many viewers and you're completely stunned. That's why you can't grab the keyboard to drop a comment or two. Or some of the cars haven't been cleaned since the morning. At least you can tell how much snow we had since yesterday. Well, this is the widest street of the Buda Castle Quarter. This is named after the treasurer. And to our current knowledge, this is the street that's been used for the weekly fresh produce market. Only a few hundred people live here on the hilltop, and during my last tour I told you that the neighborhood still maintains a village vibe, and most of the units are rent controlled units. Now the present day local municipality decided to sell several apartments that used to be rent controlled units, and to our knowledge these units will be purchased by those who are loyal in one way or another to the leadership. In order for you to be able to look over the cars, we are also using the extension rod. And well, the two buildings that occupy now the frame, they've been reconstructed during the post-Second World War. Well, general reconstruction, the geometric pattern is said to date back to the 1400s, and it was found under 17 layers of plaster. Both the multicolored building and the next door one as well serve as merchant houses. And well, the main protagonist of the last leg of the tour is coming into view, the Matthias Church. The church itself dates back to the 1200s. Originally, it's been built to accommodate the German speakers during the Mongolian invasion. As per the most recent researches, 15 to 50% of the country's population were lost to the Mongolians. Well, most of those who died during the Mongolian invasion were Hungarian, and thus we needed colonists once the Mongolians left. And many of the colonists came from the upper section of the Danube, from today's Upper Austria and Bavaria. They were forced to live on the hilltop, and they were provided a place of worship, the Church of Our Lady, to worship. And well, another update, another difference between today's tour and the last tour upon the castle hill. On the 7th of January 2025, the formal Department of Finances building was finally reopened again. The plan was to accommodate the Department of Finances in its old home, but by the 7th of January last year, there was no such thing in Hungary any longer as Department of Finances. So decision was made. Same happened in this building's case, what happened with the reconstructed formal Department of Foreign Affairs, and another governmental body moved in to this building. Same as in the other case, the facade show how the building looked like prior to the aerial bombardments of 1944 and 45. The inside of the building has been completely refurbished. And then we have the Holy Trinity column and the lit up Matthias Church in the background. And the tower to the north is known as the Bela Tower. To the best of our knowledge, it may date back to the 1200s. And to the south, we have the Matthias Tower. Commissioned by King Matthias during the 1400s. Behind the Holy Trinity column, we have the former mayor's office. And what many of you may remember as the Brutalist Burg Hotel from the previous virtual tours. Well, during the past 2 years, the former Burg Hotel was not just knocked down, but a new building's been built, sort of like mimicking a imaginary medieval building that may have stood there on the corner. Once again, the reconstructed facade of the former Department of Finances. Some festive decoration, and now the Matthias Church from close by. We are going to push down to the Fisherman's Bastion, and depending whether if the security guard is still here or not, we are going to check out the views from the upper level of the Fisherman's Bastion. If not, we are going to use the lower level, which is not so far to the upper level at all. Well, my apologies for the wonky image, but I'm navigating through slippery ice and piles of snow. And for the right visuals, let me frame some snow-covered bushes in front of the Matthias Church's facade. Now, isn't this something? The Fisherman's Bastion was designed by the same architect who is responsible for the Matthias Church's neo-Gothic facelift. His name is Frigyes Sulek, Hungarian architect. Frigyes Sulek was commissioned to deliver what Francis Joseph the Emperor and the king of the country demanded once he's been crowned in the predecessor version of the Church of Our Lady. He didn't like the predecessor version, and he ordered a neo-Gothic facelift. Frigyes Sulek spent roughly 23 years with the project. First 10 years were spent with research, and the second 10 years were spent with the actual construction work. Well, I hope that these screenshot angles work like a charm. I am going to attempt to walk down along the most slippery staircase of the entire city. So bear with me. If I fall, then that will be the extra bonus feature of this tour. Well, we have the equestrial statue of King Stephen in plain view, facing west, the general political and cultural direction he and his father picked for Hungarians. And in the background, two of the 7 towers of the Fisherman's Bastion. Well, our tour will soon come to an end. We'll just look for an opening in the Fisherman's Bastion that we can own. Well, as far as I can see, there are hardly no people on my favorite balcony, so we're gonna go for that. But before we do so, let me give you another screenshot picture. Lit up towers of the Fisherman's Bastion with some snow-covered pavement. last remaining festive decoration. So last but not least, my favorite balcony. And then I'll let my other colleagues entertain you with some other virtual tours. And I would like to raise awareness the fact that tomorrow I'll have another virtual tour, not from the Buda side, but actually from the Pest side. And we are going to tour the city park. Well, if you like this tour, and you can, kindly chip in through Buy Me a Coffee. You can find the link in the comment section. If you have a moment online, then feel free, or I invite you actually to leave a review on my Google account. The more reviews, the more Google will fancy my company. So a review helps as well, and buying a coffee or two will bring us a long way. Well, thank you very much for being with me live, or, well, watching the recordings. I see you rather soon, tomorrow, West Side, City Park, 7:30 p.m. Central European Time. Also streamed from StreamYard. And you can find the YouTube link in about 7 minutes from now in Captivating Hungary Through Adam's Eyes Facebook group. Thank you and see you tomorrow.